Welcome to Spectrum News at 12. I am Uyai and I can come to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. Let's take a look at the major stories. Federal government begins registration of medical laboratories. Akwa Ibom State Governor-elect Pastor Umoino and State House of Assembly members-elect to get certificate of return today. Plus, Beijing warns of severe impact on U.S.-China relations as Taiwan's leader lands in New York. We will bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. First, in the report today is the federal government, which has begun an online registration of medical laboratories in Nigeria to enhance service delivery. The Registrar of the Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria, MLSCN, Dr. Tosan Erabo, made this known in Abuja at a meeting with stakeholders and the agency's consultants on automation led by Effiong Akpan of the University of Calabar. He called on stakeholders to avail themselves of the great opportunities offered by the new framework to enhance service delivery. Erabo said the registration would scale up efficiency, effectiveness, transparency, speed of service delivery, as well as data collation and management. Meanwhile, the federal government is set to create a portal with a view of engaging, re-engineering and reactivating capacity of older persons who wish to continue offering services after retirement. The Director General of National Senior Citizens Center, NSCC, Dr. Omokaro, said this at a collaborative meeting with relevant government agencies and stakeholders on service level in Abuja. Omokaro said the intervention is in realization of the huge potential in the older persons that could be tapped into national development. According to him, the portal will be operational latest by April. In the meantime, the federal government has raised the alarm over the rising cases of deadly incidents in filling stations, depots and by tanker drivers, which had claimed about 633 lives in less than 4 years. It vowed to sanction culpable oil marketers operating in the downstream sector over their poor management of health, safety and environment, particularly when transporting and offloading petroleum products. A presentation by the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority at a meeting with petroleum product transporters and retailers in Abuja indicated that a total of 633 fatalities were recorded in the downstream oil sector in 2018, 2021 and 2022 to date. Although the presentation did not capture the figures for 2019 and 2020, it indicated that the fatalities were caused by 388 incidents. Elsewhere, the federal government has rolled out its enhanced e-passport as well as unveiled a new passport production center and front office in Ilesha, Osun State. At the launch, the Minister of Interior Rauf Aregbesola stated that the production and front office facilities would make it easier for more travelers to get their Nigerian international passports. He said the facilities in Ilesha would join others in Lagos, Ibadan, Enugu, Katsina, Zaria, Daura, as well as Nigerian foreign missions in countries such as the United States, United Kingdom and Canada, among others, where the enhanced e-passport system has been rolled out recently. In a statement, Aregbesola noted that the Nigeria Immigration Service has continued to mark remarkable contributions to the overall service delivery and accomplishments of the mandate of the Ministry of Interior, which he had supervised in 4 years.
The front office is where application will be made and biometric data of the applicant captured or collected. It is a non-judgmental center, meaning that no decision will be made here, but the application and biometric data of the applicants will be collected and forwarded to the Nigerian Immigration Service for processing and issuing. It is important also that they apply by themselves at the Nigerian Immigration Service portal, which is online, and not through touts and unscrupulous officials, which often bring act aids.
I assure the Nigerian Immigration Service of our government readiness to support for the service in the discharge of its mandate, and particularly all the service to work closely with Osun State government to stop illegal migration from outside.
The production center in Ilesha is unique in the sense that it's the only center where state capitals will be producing their passports.
The production center and the front office in Ilesha, it reduces the production stress and appointment time.
From the Red Chambers, the National Assembly has passed the Federal Audit Service Bill, which prescribes, among others, a 5-year jail term for any accounting officer who prevents the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation from assessing their account books. The Senate concurred with the House of Representatives, which had earlier passed the proposed legislation. The Senate leader Ibrahim Gobia led the debate for the concurrence, which the Red Chamber approved after dissolving to the Committee of the Whole. The chairman, Senate Public Accounts Committee, Senator Matthew Ugoride, told journalists that the bill, which was passed in the 8th Senate, seeks to strengthen the office of the Auditor General for the Federation. Ugoride added that the Office of the Auditor General for the Federation is independent Institute of Credit Administration, NICA, Andy Ojay, has announced the inauguration of the Governing Council of Institute. Andy, in a statement, disclosed that during the inauguration event in Lagos, the president appreciated its members for accepting to serve the institute voluntarily, honorably and consciously through the various committees, which includes education, training and research, membership and subscription, publication and events, government and corporate relations committees, among others. According to him, the committees are key to the successful operation of the National Institute of Credit Administration. In another development, the World Food Programme, an organization within the United Nations, says 32% of Nigerians do not have enough food to consume. According to the organization, 170 million people do not have sufficient food to consume across 19 countries. In a March 28 update of the Hunger Mile Live Western Africa Insight and Key Trends, the countries with the highest prevalence of insufficient food consumption are Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, Guinea, Chad, Sierra Leone, Cameroon, Liberia, Central African Republic, Togo, Guinea-Bissau, and Nigeria. In its latest food security update, the World Bank revealed that food insufficiency in Nigeria increased from 29% to 32% over the last 3 months. It stated that the overall food and nutrition situation in Nigeria and other West African countries is challenging for a large share of their population. On the home front, the Akwa Ibom State Governor-elect, Pastor Omoino, and State House of Assembly members-elect are set to get their certificate of return today. Reports say the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, will commence the presentation of the certificate to the Governor-elect and other members-elect in the State House of Assembly about now at the Commission's headquarters in the state at Udoldama Avenue, following the conclusion of the March 18 elections. Meanwhile, farmers in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State capital expressed excitement as rainy season set in. According to them, the soil will be moisturized and is able to retain more water. Speaking with a correspondent, Esther Otoyo, they identified the different crops they plant during the season and methods used to protect them from insect bites.
We usually water the crops, but during the rainy season, the soil retains enough water. We buy some chemicals from the markets to use as insecticides. In my farm, I plant crops such as cassava, corn, water yams, among others. Our farm is always beautiful during the rainy season, and we also provide water passage for excess water. For insecticide, we usually use arches to prevent insect bites.
They disclosed that excess water in the soil can affect their crops negatively rather than growing them.
When the rain becomes heavy, we usually harvest our water leaves and other crops to a more comfortable land where water will not destroy them. When the rain becomes
We move now to Africa, where the United States Vice President Kamala Harris has arrived in Tanzania on the second leg of her first tour to Africa. According to reports, she will be meeting Tanzania President Samia Suluhu to discuss issue of the country's non-alignment over the war in Ukraine. According to her, the U.S. has been keen to get more countries to condemn the Russian invasion. Still in Africa, Kenya Interior Ministry has said that the country is on the brink of chaos, a situation of grave danger to the rule of law and the stability of the country. The ministry has deployed a robust police presence to stop the irretrievable anarchy ahead of more opposition protests planned. According to the president's official residence, roadblocks have been mounted on roads leading to the State House. On the foreign scene, President Tsai Ing-wen, after arriving in New York City, has said that Taiwan's relationship with the United States has never been closer, despite Beijing's warning that its visits to the U.S. could lead to serious confrontation. According to Tsai, Taiwan faced tremendous challenges from the city, where she is making the first of 2 planned stopovers in the United States on either side of an official visit to Central America. Reports say Tsai's visit comes at a time of heightened tensions between the U.S. and China and has already sparked sharp condemnation from Beijing, which claims democratic Taiwan as its territory despite never having controlled it. Still on the foreign scene, a number of people have reportedly been killed after 2 U.S. Army helicopters crashed in Kentucky. Reports say the incident happened in the Trigg County area, close to the large port of Campbell military base, and at least 9 people may have been killed. A U.S. Army spokesperson in a statement said 2 HH-60 Black Hawk helicopters had crashed during a routine training mission, noting that the command is currently focused on caring for the service members and their families. The spokesperson added that the incident was under investigation and more information will be released as it becomes available. Still to come in the news. Barcelona beats Roma 5-1 to secure place in Women's Champions League semi-finals. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying tuned, and now to the rest of the news. In business, the federal government, in partnership with private sector investors, have commenced moves to deploy 1,000 mini-grids to electrify rural communities across the country. Speaking at the Rural Electrification Fund Call 3 Bidders workshop in Abuja, the Managing Director, Rural Electrification Agency REA, Ahmed Salijo, who was represented by the agency Executive Director, Corporate Services Olani Alaba, announced that over 1,000 mini-grids will be built nationwide under the REF program and other off-grid initiatives. Alaba stated that from the inauguration of various REF projects, including REF Calls 1 and 2 mini-grid projects, they have proven that the renewable energy technology is good economics and that the business models work. Still in business, many farmers, particularly those in remote villages, have reportedly switched to trade by barter in order to feed, following the cash crunch caused by the Naira redesign policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria. According to the president, All Farmers Association of Nigeria, AFAN, Kabir Ibrahim, the latest findings by the association indicated that farmers lost about 30 billion naira due to the naira crisis, noting that all arms of the agricultural sector were hit by the painful CBN policy. Ibrahim also added that the poultry sector was among the worst hit, while other producers of agro-commodities also suffered severe losses. He therefore urged the CBN to increase the release of cash so that it could spread to villages and other remote areas across the country where farmers were practicing trade by barter. In health, the federal government cites Savers Nigeria and other non-governmental organizations are reportedly developing a national guideline for the management of morbidity and disability induced by neglected tropical diseases (NTDs) in the country. Speaking at the Side Savers Nigeria Morbidity Management and Disability Prevention meeting in Abuja, the national coordinator of the NTDs program of the Federal Ministry of Health, Nseakban, said the guidelines would eliminate lymphatic filariasis, popularly called elephantiasis, among others. According to reports, NTDs were a diverse group of 20 conditions that are mainly prevalent in tropical areas where they affect more than 1 billion people living in impoverished communities. Still in health, humanitarian intervention aimed at improving the survival of children affected by conflict through the provision of food, nutrition, sanitation, and protection services in Nigeria's northeast region will empower over 300,000 mothers and caregivers. According to Christian Moduet, UNICEF representative in Nigeria, the aims of the interventions is to enhance dietary practices, home-based malnutrition screening skills, provision of high-impact life-saving nutrition interventions, and micronutrient supplementation that will help in the prevention of infections among children. He explained that implementation of the intervention will see roving midwives deployed to hard-to-reach areas to improve the nutrition status and overall well-being of the most disadvantaged children. We move now to sports, where Fridolina Rolfo scored twice as Barcelona thrashed Roma to secure progression to the Women's Champions League semi-finals. Reports say Rolfo scored either side of Mala Lyon's stunning coiled strike in front of 54,667 joyous fans at the Nou Camp. Meanwhile, goals from Asisat Oshola and Patricia Gugaro put the Charlatan side out of sight before Anna Maria Serutuni's low drive gave Roma a consolation goal. Bacca will meet Chelsea or defending champions Lyon in the last four. Barcelona have reached the Champions League semi-final stage for 5 consecutive seasons, going on to reach the final 3 times and winning the tournament once. Still in sports, Arsenal put in a stunning display at Emirates Stadium to come from behind in their Women's Champions League quarter-final tie with Bayern Munich, needing to overturn a 1-0 first-leg deficit to make the semi-finals for the first time in a decade. Arsenal were intense from the off and blew Bayern away in a brilliant first-half performance. Frida Manum scored one of the goals of the season when she struck the ball beautifully into the top corner after being teed up by a flick from Leah Williamson to open proceedings. Bayern were shaken by the Arsenal's relentless pressing and with a record crowd for a women's European match in England in attendance, they struggled to deal with an onslaught of pressure. On our entertainment news, Nigerian singer Davido has added 2 new artists to the roster of his record label DMW as the label gets new branding. Reports say Davido Music Worldwide is one of the notable labels in Nigeria that has delivered exciting artists including Mayokun, Tremor and Peruzzi, adding that after over a decade in the music scene, DMW is getting a new logo as well as 2 new artists, namely Logos Olori and Morove. It added that Morove is a young Port Harcourt-bred singer-songwriter with a unique flair for blending Afro sound, while Logos Olori is a sensational Afrobeat vibe, drawing musical inspiration from his southwestern roots. Still on entertainment, Nigerian megastar Davido has released the track list for his upcoming album, Timeless, set for release tomorrow, Friday, March 31st. The track list consists of 17 tracks with features from Nigerian and international artists, including Faith Ashake and Caveman. For international collaborations, there is British-Nigerian rapper Skepta, multi-Grammy award winner Angelique Kidjo, South African singer Musa Keys, and Jamaican dancehall star Dexter Dabbs. Timeless is coming off the back of his 2022 release Stand Strong, which is not included in the album. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. You have been watching Spectrum TV News at 12. I am Uyai Anek, and thanks for watching, and do enjoy the rest of your day. Good afternoon.